guys, thanks for joining for this Yoga Sizzle video. It's a 1 hour sequence, so 60 minutes for your hips and pelvis. For this one, we're going to start down on the mat. We're going to reset the pelvis. So lie down, flat on your back, taking your legs out in front. And then we're going to start with the right leg. So take your right knee into your chest, and you can just let your left leg flop. Doesn't need to do anything for now. Relax your feet. And bring your hands onto the right knee. And to begin with, you push the knee forward and down as if you're trying to stomp your foot onto the mat. And you press out against the resistance of your hands for about 10 seconds. And there might be one slow, full round of breath. And then do the opposite. So bring your knee in towards your armpit. Again for 10 seconds. It's not about stretching the muscle, it's about getting into the hips. And then we repeat 2 more rounds. So pressing the knee forward and down. Maybe noticing some muscle fibers in the buttocks, activating a little. And after 10 seconds, you bring the knee in toward your chest. And you might already notice by the second round, there's a little bit more give in the hip. And then third time, press the knee forward and down. We're trying to engage the muscles around the hip. And last time, bring the knee in toward your chest, creating a bit of space in the hip. Again, 10 seconds. And then we swap sides. So you let your left leg release. Maybe just pause a moment here, noticing any different sensations between the right and the left side. And then you draw your left knee into your chest. Again, the hands onto the knee. And we start with the resistance part. So press your knee forward and down. Into the hands are resisting. 10 seconds here. And then 10 seconds, bring your knee in towards your armpit. And it's normal to have different sides. So, of course, left side and the right side are always going to be different. But having more movement in one than the other. One might feel tighter than the other. And then again, the resistance. Press your knee forward and down. Using about 80% effort. And then round 2, bring your knee in towards your chest. Maybe feeling a little bit more movement. And then press your knee forward and down against the resistance. And then last time, bringing your knee in. Each time creating more space. Good. And then you're going to slide this leg out. Again, noticing if you feel any difference between left and right sides. And now we move on to around the sacrum area. So have your feet, your knees in, pull your knees in, and have your knees together. Bring your hands to the outside of your knees. And now for 10 seconds, you're going to push your knees, try to push your knees apart. The hands resist. So again, 10 seconds. And again, about 80% effort. And then release. Bring your feet to the floor, a little bit wider than your hips. And you're going to squeeze your knees together. 10 seconds. You might have a clock. Or like I said, it might be one slow inhale and exhale. And then 2 more times. Knees in, hands to the outside. Pushing your knees apart. You might at any point during this hear a slight pop or click or something shift around your pubis or your hip or your sacral joint. You might not hear anything at all. That's also normal. And then squeeze your knees together for 10 seconds. And last time, knees to your chest, hands to the outside, and press your knees apart. Letting your breath be very relaxed. And then feet to the floor, a little bit wider than hips. And squeeze your knees together. Again, letting the breath be relaxed, the breath moving in and out. And sliding your legs out. And notice what you feel around the hips, around the back of your pelvis, your SI joint. And after having reset the pelvis, realigned, we'll move on to some staggered squats. to build a little bit of stability. So roll onto your side and use your hand to press you up. Bring your right foot forward and you're going to tuck your left toes under. Measure that you've got about 2 fist widths between the front foot and the back, and you want your left big toe lining up with your right heel. We're going to do 3 rounds. So pressing your hands into the outside of your knees. Squeeze your butt and come up to standing. We're going to come back down. Press your knees into the hands, bum back, heart forward. 2 more times. Coming all the way up. And slowly coming all the way down. It's like you're tying your shoelaces. Last time, squeeze your butt, coming all the way up. Building strength and stability at the front and the back and the sides of your pelvis, and come all the way down. Good. We're going to swap sides. So you bring the left foot forward and the right foot back. Again, hands on the outside of the knees, just so your knees have got resistance and they don't wobble in. Squeeze your butt, come up to standing, and all the way down. And again, squeeze your butt, come up to standing, and down. Last time, coming all the way up, and all the way down. And the fingers to the floor, bum to sky, bring your feet parallel, and just maybe shift your hips from side to side like you're wagging your tail. And you can either keep your feet hip distance or bring them together. Soften into your knees and letting your knees push forward. Firm your buttocks, rolling and rounding your spine all the way up to standing. Taking your arms up and taking your arms down along your side. Good. So then if you've been turned sideways on the mat, you're going to turn to face forward on your mat. Come to the front of your mat, the top of the mat. And you can bring your feet hip distance. Push your knees a little forward. And we're going to create a bit of space in the front of the hips. So firm your buttocks. Press your sit bones down and forward towards the front of your big toes. And then lift your hip bones up and back. So you might even feel like you're leaning backwards a little. But then shift the weight into the balls of your feet. And notice how that's opening the front of your hips. We're going to add on half a salute. So keeping your hips nice and open, already noticing that your buttocks are going to feel quite firm, the back of your legs quite firm. Float your hands up. Keeping your hips as open as possible for as long as possible. We start at the top of the spine, tucking the chin to the chest, rolling down. And then once your spine can't roll anymore, you add on the hips. And you touch the floor, head to knee. Let your knees be as bent as they need to be. Heart forward, head forward, and curl in. Press the knees forward, firm your butt, roll all the way back up. Taking your hands up towards the sky. Press the knees forward, sit bones forward, hip bones up and back. So the front of the hips are nice and open. We're going to roll all the way back down. Spine rolls, then the hips bend, then you touch the floor, knees bent as much as they need to. Heart forward, head forward, and curling in. Soften the knees, press the knees forward, firm your butt, roll up. Last time, take your hands up, bend into your knees, sit bones press forward, hip bones lift up. Keeping your hips as open for as long as possible, rolling down from the top of the spine, the middle, the base of the spine, the hips, and the hands touch the floor. Heart forward, head forward. Your legs might be able to straighten a little more. And then you're going to bring your hands flat to the mat, and you're going to step back to your high plank. Now I'm going to call this a hip opening high plank because we want to do the same thing we were doing in our starting standing posture. So press your sit bones down and forward towards the tips of your toes. Lift your hip bones up and back. Feel that opening hip sensation. Notice how much your buttocks and the back of your legs engage. And pressing the upper spine towards the sky, letting your shoulder blades round out and forward. And keeping your hips open for as long as possible. Tuck your chin to your chest. to your belly, and rolling back to your downward facing dog. And then from here, lifting your heels up high, roll forward to our hip opening high plank, and chin to chest, to belly, to down dog. And again, lifting up, roll forward, squeezing into the buttocks, hip opening high plank, and back. And this time, we're going to come all the way down to the floor. So lifting your heels up high, rolling forward, hip opening high plank. Bring your knees to the mat. Pointing your toes, shift the weight forward, and come down to your belly. Point your toes, firm your butt, and press your hips, your pelvis, your legs down into the floor. Taking your arms out to a T shape. Keep pressing your feet and your hips down into the mat. Inhaling, hands, head and shoulders off the floor. Airplane cobra. And then lower down. Inhaling up. And lower down. Inhaling up. Bend your elbows, hands next to ribs. Squeezing your shoulder blades together and lower back down. Tucking your toes, push up to your tabletop. And then lifting the knees and pressing back to your downward facing dog. Lift your heels up high. Bend your knees, maybe touching your bum to your heels. Walk or step to the top of the mat. Fingers on the floor, heart forward, finishing and curling in. Press the knees forward, firm your buttocks, and roll all the way up to standing. Saluting the sun, palms might touch, and then bring your arms along your side. And we add on more. So we're going to move into a sequence called Cocoon Butterfly to start off our salute. Soften into your knees, taking your hands back, and then as you inhale, picking up your right knee, and then exhale, hug the air around the knee. Flex your right foot, so we're flexing each joint in the body. Then inhale, open up. Right big toe to floor. Push the big toe down to the floor, open your arms out wide. And exhale, round and hug, cocoon. Whoa. Inhale, opening out. Balancing can be hard. The butterfly. And exhale, round and hug. This time, as you open out to your butterfly, hover your big toe just off the floor, and then land your foot into your long lunge. Bend the back knee, hover just off the floor as you take your hands to the sky, squeezing into your buttocks. Now squeeze and stretch up, stretch both legs, lift the back heel a little higher. You're going to bend both knees and twist to the left. 2 more times. Lifting up high. And bend and twist. Last time, lifting up high. Bend and twist. Left hand to right thigh. Right hand up, reversing our lunge. And then cartwheel your hands down to the floor. Hands flat, hip opening, high plank. So the sit bones reaching down towards the tips of your toes. Hip bones lifting up and back. And tucking the chin to your chest, to your belly, to back to down dog. Keep the sensation of trying to open the hips in your down dog. Sit bones reaching down. Ribs lifting up, lower back nice and long. And we're going to lift up, roll forward, and bring your knees to the mat. Shift the weight forward and come all the way down. This time keep your hands on the floor, elbows pointing up. We're keeping the head and shoulders down, we're only lifting the legs. So inhaling, lift from the buttocks to the big toe, and down. Lifting up. And exhale, floats down. Last time, inhale, lifting up. And down. And then press up. and back to down dog. We're going to add on some side bends to our down dog. We start by lifting the heels up high, and then turning your heels to the right, and bend your knees. Maybe touch your bum to your heels. And then straighten your legs, lifting your heels up high, turning your heels to the left. Bend your knees, touch bum to heel. And straighten the legs, lifting up. 2 more times each side. Bend the knees, bum to heel. And lifting up, turning to the left, and bend your knees. And one more time. So notice there's a nice deep bend of the spine to the side, stretching out opposite sides of the body. And we're also activating buttocks muscles. And then return to your regular downward facing dog. And lifting your heels up high, bending your knees down low. Walk or step to the top of the mat. Fingers on the floor, heart forward, head forward. Curling in. Softening into your knees. Rolling up along the spine, buttocks and breath brings you up. Reach up. And arms down. We go on to the second side. So bending into your knees, hands reach back so you're ready to sweep. Inhale, left knee lifts. Flex the foot, exhale, hug the air around the knee. Let's see how the bounce is on the second side. Opening up, big toe to floor. Press the big toe down, open your arms, open your heart. And exhale, flex and hug. Again, opening out. Squeezing from the big toe down, or the buttocks to the big toe. And hug. And this time the toe stays off the floor. Opening out for your butterfly and landing into your lunge. Bending the back knee, taking your hands straight up. Firm your buttocks. So our lift and twist 3 times. Inhale, lifts you up. Whoa, and exhale, bend and twist. Inhale, lifts you up. And exhale, bend and twist. Inhaling up. Bend and twist. And the right hand to the left thigh, reaching up, up, up. Lengthen out the front of the left hip. And then cartwheel your hands to the floor. Stepping back, hip opening, high plank. Just holding it here, connecting with the position, finding your alignment, and then inhaling chin to chest to belly to down dog. And staying in your down dog for a breath. And from here we're going to come forward and down to our bellies. Lift the heels up high, roll forward, maybe bring your knees to the mat, maybe keep your legs straight and lower down. Pointing your toes, taking your arms out to a T. Now if the last 2 rounds felt okay on your lower back, we're going to lift everything. So inhale, arms and legs. Lift and lower. Lifting up, inhale, floats you up. And the exhale sinks you back down. Last time, floating up. Keep your legs lifted, bend your elbows. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lower your feet. Bring your hands to the mat. And then lowering back down. Press up. And back to down dog. Now we're going to add on a little bit more to our twisting down dogs. Lift your heels up high. This time turn them to the left. Bend your knees. Now keep your heels on the left. Squeeze your buttocks. Press yourself forward to a twisted high plank. Keep the hips up high. Lift the heels, a regular high plank. And return to down dog. Lift the heels up high. Turn them to the right. Bend the knees. Squeeze your butt. Press forward, twisted high plank. Lift your heels and return to down dog. 2 more times each side. Heels up high. Heels to the left, bend the knees. press forward, high plank. Heels lift, regular high plank, and back to down dog. Heels up high, turn to the right, bend the knees, maybe bum to heels, and press forward, twisted high plank. Regular high plank, downward facing dog, last round each side. How are you doing? Heels lift, heels turn, knees bend. Inhale takes you forward, heels lift, and back to down dog. Last side, heels lift, turn, exhale, bend. Inhaling forward, high plank with a twist. Regular plank, and downward facing dog. Well done. And just noticing your downward facing dog. Our plank position, down dog, can often be shorter or longer. So the down dog might be shorter. You might want to walk your feet in a little bit. And lifting your heels up high, bending your knees low. Walk or step to the top of the mat. Fingers on the floor, heart forward, head forward. And curling in. Soften the knees, firm the buttocks, rolling all the way up. Reaching up, maybe palms touch. And arms along the side. We start adding more. Take your feet hip distance. And we add a little bit more balance challenge to our cocoon and butterfly. Fingers back, knees bend like you're a downhill skier. Inhale, picks up the right leg. Exhale, whoa, hug. Inhale, open out. Big toe to the floor. Squeezing from the buttocks to the big toe, arms open, heart open. And then exhale, round and hug. This time, big toe stays off the floor if you can. Opening out. And round and hug. This time, can you lift your leg even more? Leaning forward into your warrior three. And slowly landing into your long lunge. Back knee softened. And reach your hands up. Buttocks firm. And then you're going to trace a line down the front of the body. Bring your hands to either side of the front foot. Good. Leaving your right hand down. Softness in the back knee. Squeezing the back buttocks. And peel your left hand toward the sky. Now notice if you sent your butt out to the side, keep sending your whole pelvis to the right. 3 arm rotations. Inhale the hand down. Forward, up, back, down, forward, up, back. Let your legs do most of the work. Down, forward, up, back. And then bring your hand down. Bring your hand to the inside of the front foot. And then turning your back leg, bring the heel to the mat. Again, without sticking your butt out to the side. Keep pressing your hips and your pelvis to the right. And you can stay on flat hand if you can reach, or come up onto the left fingertips. If this is really super hard, you can also bring your elbow up onto the thigh. And then pressing from the buttocks down into your feet, we're going to do some big arm rotations with the right hand. So forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. Good. So the nice compression into the front hip. And then lifting the back thigh. Maybe adjusting yourself if you feel like you've got the wobbles. Soften into the back knee, firm up your buttocks. And roll back up into your high lunge. Bring your hands down to your hips. And bring your hands down and bring your hands to your hips. So you're going to leave your right hand on your right hip. You're going to bring your left hand to the inside of the left thigh. And we're exploring the transition between lunge and warrior two. The left hand is going to prevent the left knee from moving. The right hand is going to prevent the right side of the pelvis from moving. We only want to turn the right thigh in the right hip socket. So turning the thigh, bring your heel to the floor. Don't let the front knee move. Now the tricky thing is, lift the back heel and return to your lunge. And again, turn the back heel, heel to the floor. This time maybe take your arms out. Keep the angle at your pelvis, but belly button and chest turn all the way to the right. Now without the help of your hands, lift the back heel, returning to your high lunge. And then without the help of your hands, can you just keep your legs super strong and open out? Warrior two. And noticing that if your front knee does drop in, angle the back hip a little more forward, and it'll create space to bring the front leg back into alignment. We want a bit of a twist along the spine. So the pelvis is angled, the belly button and chest face the side. And then from here, front leg straightens, presses into the left hip socket, which tilts the entire pelvis. The spine stays perpendicular to the pelvis. Triangle pose. Keep squeezing your buttocks, left buttocks and right buttocks, pressing down into the feet. And then from here, I'm going to lift the back heel. Bring your hands to the floor. And you can either stay up on the fingertips or hands flat. Either way, you need to have long Inspector Gadget arms. Push your arms out of your shoulders, pushing down to the floor. Pick up the front foot, squeeze the knee into your chest, and stretch back, three-legged down dog. Keeping your leg up high, toe, knee pointing down. Puffing up your lower back, and now bend your knee, kick your own butt. Without collapsing into your rib cage or your lower back, keep the lower back nice and full. Just squeezing into the hamstrings and your buttocks, lifting the knee. And then maybe turn the knee out to the side without turning at the chest. Peeing down dog. And from here, you're going to take the knee back to center. And you're going to bring your knee forward to your chest. Stretch the leg back, three-legged down dog. Come forward, left knee to left elbow. And back. And bring the knee to your nose, maybe even to your forehead, rounding a whole lot. And step your foot forward. Load the weight into the front leg, maybe even bend a little into the back leg so you're like a sprinter in your starting blocks. And then inhale, lean onto the front leg. Slowly take your leg up towards the sky. Right leg up high, standing splits. And then looking at your toe and your knee, are they turned out to the side? We're going to adjust them so that they turn down towards the floor. Keeping your right leg straight, lowering your right foot towards the back of the left without bringing it to the floor. So both legs are trying to straighten. The left toe is pressing into the back of the left heel, or the right toe is pressing into the back of the left heel, foot just off the floor. And then lengthen out the left side of your waist. So now your pelvis is going to feel a little bit more, it's going to be a little bit more still and straight. And then you're going to take your legs straight back up. You might not be able to lift your leg as high, but the toes and knees are going to point straight down. Squeezing into your buttocks, lifting the entire right leg with the muscles along the back of the leg. And then from here, bending into your standing leg. Bend your right knee in towards your chest. And you're going to slowly come all the way up. Hands to hips, knee to chest. Right hand onto the ankle. Pull the heel in towards your butt. And then pointing the knee down. Bend a little into your standing leg. Squeeze your bum and press your hips forward. Lengthen the knee down towards the floor. And maybe keep your hand on the hip for help with the balance. As you slowly take your knee back, kicking the ankle into the hand. Keep lifting with the hand, bring the foot higher. And maybe you might like to extend the arm. Keep squeezing into the right buttocks. And slowly, slowly coming back. Bring the knee to your chest. Left hand to right knee. Big circle with your right arm up, back, gentle twist. Bring the hand down, hand to foot pose, or a variation thereof. So you can have your hands on your feet, or your hands on your knee. If you've got your hands on your knee, stay here. If you have your hands on your feet, press your feet into your hand, or your foot into your hand, and taking it forward. And then bending the knee. Coming back up, hands to hips, knee out to the side, and then helping with your hand to bring the right foot to the inside of the thigh. If you feel very wobbly, you can bring your foot down to the inside of your shin, or big toe on the floor. Tree pose. So we don't want to be angling our hips out to the side. We're just turning the leg in the hip socket. It might feel a little bit like triangle pose. And then knee to chest, and the foot back to the floor. We'll flush that out before round 2, or second side. Sweep your hands all the way up. Feel the hip opening at the front, and then curl down. Fingers to floor, head to knee. Heart forward, head forward, and curl back in. And rolling all the way back up. Saluting the sun, and bring your hands down. Are you ready? Second side. So bending into your knees, hands back, and you're going to inhale, right, left knee up, and exhaling, hug the air around the knee. Opening out, big toe to floor. Press the big toe down. And exhale, hug the air around the knee. Opening out. The big toe hovers just off the floor, engaging the entire back of the body. And exhaling, rounding the entire back body. And opening out. And leaning maybe forward into your warrior 3. And then landing your foot. Soften the back knee, taking your hands all the way up. We're going to curl all the way down. Hands to the floor. Firming into your buttocks, letting your legs do the work. And from here you peel your right hand up towards the sky. Lunge with a twist. Letting your legs do the work as we circle the arm. 3 times. Your left hand is more there for decoration. All the way up. Last time. All the way up. And down. Now the hands come to the inside. Turn the back heel to the floor. Now if you stick your bum out a lot, bring yourself up higher onto the thigh and send your pelvis to the left. Or you might be able to keep your pelvis sending to the left, stay on the fingertips, or hand flat. And then wherever your right hand is, keep it there. And you would do 3 rotations with the left arm. Inhaling left arm forward, up, back, down. Inhaling forward, up, back, and down. Last time, up, back, and down. And then lift the back heel. Adjust your hands either side of the front foot. Soften into the back knee, squeezing your buttocks. And roll all the way up. Bring your hands down. We've got our lunge and warrior 2 transition. Right hand to the inside of the thigh, left hand to hip. And then without letting the right knee drop in, turn your thigh. Heel touches. And then coming back, high lunge. And again, turn the thigh. Maybe add on the arms and a slight twist of the spine, keeping the pelvis angled. And then lifting the back heel. High lunge. Last time, warrior 2. Well done. And then from here, keeping your pelvis at this angle, you're going to straighten into the front leg. Let that thigh bone push into the hip, let that tilt the pelvis, and the spine travels with the pelvis. So it doesn't matter if you're up here or down low. Want to keep the spine nice and straight. You'll feel the entire top side of your body engage. And then we're going to bring our hands down. Back heel lift. And this is where you need your strong Inspector Gadget arms. Pick up the front foot, squeeze your knee into your chest, and stretch your leg out behind you. The hands press down and forward. Back leg pulls you back. And then you bend the knee. Lift your knee a little higher without collapsing into your lower back or spilling your guts towards the floor. And turning your knee out to the side. It's again, we're trying to turn the thigh and the hip socket. And take your knee back, stretch your leg, and bring your knee to your nose. And back. And take the knee to your elbow. And back. And then this time taking it to your nose or maybe even to your forehead. And then step the foot forward. We're going to lean onto the front leg. Maybe bend a little into the back leg so you've got your runner's starting block position. Then inhale onto the front foot and let the back leg float up. Standing splits. Head towards the knee. And we'll do our own little self-adjustment. So flexing the left toes, pressing the left toes into the back of the right foot. The foot stays just off the floor. Even out both sides of your waist. Keeping your legs nice and strong and then floating the left leg back up, toes and knees pointing down. And here comes our little balancing bit. So we're going to bend into the standing leg, bend your left knee to your chest, and slowly coming up. Good. Right hand to hip, left hand to ankle, and you point your knee down. Soften into the standing leg, squeeze your butt, press the hips forward, and the knee pushes down or reaches down. Keep kicking your ankle into the hand, and you begin to lean forward. You want to take the knee up high, and maybe you extend the hand forward. Keep squeezing into the buttocks. And slowly, gently, coming back up. Knee to chest, right hand to left knee. And a big circle with the left arm up. Back. Down. And you either hold onto the foot if you did that on the first side, or hold onto the knee. If you're on the knee, you stay upright. If you're holding the foot, take your leg out in front. And then bend the knee. Coming up. Take the knee out to the side without collapsing in your standing leg. I know it's hard. You're almost there. Squeeze the right buttocks and bring the left foot to the inner thigh or the inner shin or big toe on the floor if that's what you did on the first side. You press your standing leg into the lifted foot and the lifted foot presses right back. Maybe your hands come to prayer. And then hands back to your hips, knee to chest, and float the foot down. Right, let's move on to the floor. Flushing it out. Sweep your hands up. And curl down. Keep the hips open for as long as possible. Fingers to floor, head to knee. Heart forward, head forward. And this time, hands flat, hip opening, high plank. I've done this one for a while. Sit bone reaching down towards the tips of your big toes, hip bones lifting up and back. And then pulling your chin to your chest, rolling back to your downward facing dog. Noticing how you feel. Maybe wag your tail a little, sway your hips from side to side, and bring your knees to the floor. Sitting back onto your heels. This might feel nice. Good. So we're going to open a little more into the quads, the front of the hips. Bring your fingers to the floor behind you. And then make sure your toes are pointing straight back. We don't want our heels dropping out to the side. Bend a little into your elbows, squeezing into your buttocks, and then inhale. Press the pelvis up and forward. And down. 2 more times. Inhaling up. Maybe the chest lifts a little higher and down. And last time, this time you might be able to bring your hands flat to the floor. Elbows bend to begin with, shoulder blades squeeze together, hips up. And lowering down. Bring your hands out in front, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. Again, maybe wiggle your hips from side to side. Make any adjustments you need. And then from here, we're going to come into an upward facing dog. So lift your heels up high, roll forward, hip opening, high plank. So we want to try and bring this hip opening into our upward facing dog. Point your toes, so you're in a pointed plank. Maybe even bend your elbows a little, and then pull your hips forward. Squeezing your buttocks, pull your hips forward and up, pressing down into the ball, the tops of the feet. Keep pulling your hips forward, the back of your legs strong, pushing the floor away from you. And then inhaling, chin to chest, head to belly, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Noticing how you feel. Let your spine lengthen out. How's your breath? How's your heartbeat? And then from our downward facing dog, floating your right leg up high, and curl the knee into your chest, and step the foot forward. Lower your left knee to the floor. Now I'm going to come back. We're going to sit onto the left heel, the right foot flat. Sweep the hands all the way up. So now you're still a balancing posture. You have to make sure you don't collapse off the heel. So your left shin is pressing down, the back of the left knee engaging, and then you're going to twist. Maybe right fingers to floor, maybe hugging the left arm around the knee, pressing your arm against the knee and the knee back out against the arm. And then coming back to center. You're going to lift yourself up. You're going to stretch your leg out in front. Keeping your left thigh parallel. Dig the back of the right heel into the floor. Bend a little into the knee. Inhaling, heart forward. And head to knee. Heart forward. Head forward. Head to knee. Heart forward, head forward, head to knee. And then lifting up, bring your hands forward, and then bringing your right knee behind your right wrist and your shin across at a diagonal. We're going to slowly shuffle the leg back. So the left leg points straight back, the toes point straight back. Engaging the muscles we're trying to stretch. And we hold it here, making sure the breath is still nice and soft and relaxed. And then coming onto your elbows. Maybe letting your knees slide apart. After having engaged the muscles, they can often release a little bit more easily. Keeping the left buttocks engaged to help release the front of the left hip. And then from here, we're going to come back onto our hands. And again, it's like the Inspector Gadget arms. You're going to tuck the back toe. You're going to bend down a little to your elbows. You're going to push the floor away and take your leg back. Pedal out your legs. Bring a little bit of blood flow back. And we're going to float the left leg up. And we're going to step the foot forward and lower your right knee to the floor. Consciously sitting back onto the right heel. Again, the leg is super engaged, so we're not collapsing. We're sitting onto the heel, and we're also pressing down into the left foot. So everything's still nice and stable. Inhaling the hands all the way up. Turning towards the right, and wrapping your left arm, or your right arm, turning towards the left, wrapping your right arm around the left knee, and the left fingers to the floor behind you. Left knee pressing forward and out to the side. So in our twist, the shoulders and the hips want to move in the opposite directions. The shoulders and the chest moving to the left, so the hips want to move to the right. And then coming back to center, lifting up, bringing your left leg out in front, adjusting so that the right thigh is perpendicular. Engaging into the leg, the buttocks, so you're really pressing down into that foundation, pressing down into the left heel, heart forward, head forward, and then curling in. Heart forward, head forward, and curling in. And again, heart forward, head forward, and curling in. And as your heart comes forward, landing the foot flat on the floor, bring your hand to the mat, and we set ourselves up for a half pigeon. Left knee towards the left wrist, and the shin across on the diagonal, and consciously sliding your right leg back. Make sure the toes are pointing straight back. Squeezing into the bottom, hands either side of the knee, and you're going to pull your knees together, trying to scissor your legs together. Feel yourself lift up, very similar to what you do in upward facing dog. Trying to pull the back leg forward, trying to pull the hips forward. You can even help by trying to bring your hands back. And we hold it here, engaging the muscles we eventually want to stretch. And then let yourself sink a little, but still engaging into the back of your right buttocks. Still keeping a little bit of activation to stabilize around the joints. And if you're not resting on both elbows, please stay up on your hands. It's totally fine. You're still doing the same posture. And of course, if it is available, you can come all the way down without rolling over onto one side and losing the integrity of the main part of your pose and the main part of this video, which is the hips and pelvis. So always making sure that we practice with intelligence. And then from here, we come back onto the hands. We tuck the back toes and get ready for Inspector Gadget arms. So bend down and push the floor away. Pick up your leg and foot and stepping back. Good. Letting your hips sway, your tail wag, your knees bend. Bring blood back into your legs and your hips. And then you're going to walk your feet forward. I'm going to turn and face you guys. And from here, we're taking our legs out wide. Now, it's a really good idea if you've got a cushion or a block or even a big fat dictionary, sit up on that so you get a little bit of height. That will help you to bring the pelvis more neutral, upright, rather than letting you slump backwards. Another way to prevent the slump is to bend your knees, dig your heels into the floor. And I kind of imagine this is a bit of like when a puppy wipes its butt on your carpet. They always get told off. But it's pretty smart for us yogis who need to, if you want to look after your lower back, and especially if your hips are still a little bit tight. So pull your hips towards your butt and your butt forward like you're wiping your butt on the carpet. And if you need to, you can bend your knees a whole lot more. Then we're going to first bend the spine forward, roll forward. And once you've brought your upper body as far forward as it's going to go, keep your upper body here, and then explore how far you can stretch your legs. So you might be able to stretch your legs a little or a lot. Doesn't matter, just making sure that you didn't have to lift up, because if you were lifting up, that would be the pelvis beginning to pull you back. Little by little, the more you do your practice, the more you'll notice that you might be able to come a little bit further and deeper into your postures. Again, notice how you're breathing. Sometimes I find it can be really relaxing. If your elbows are able to make it to the floor, bring your palms together, and then just resting the space between your forehead on your thumbs. It can be quite calming and relaxing. Little by little, your legs might be able to straighten a little more. Toes and knees pointing up towards the sky. And then from here, you're going to walk yourself around to the right leg, hands either side of the right leg. Just press a little more into the right hand, twisting the left side of the rib cage towards the right leg. And then you're going to walk yourself around to the left. Hands either side of the left leg. And press a little more into the left hand, the right rib cage twisting towards the left inner thigh. And then coming back to center. And walk yourself up. Hold on to the back of your knees. Help your lovely legs back together. Bring the soles of your feet together. Now it's going to feel a little bit different. Still a wide-legged position. And then slide your feet a little bit away from you. You're going to bring the top of your head down into the ball of your feet. You can rest your hands on your shins or your calves. Tuck your chin, and then rolling the top of the head down towards the ball and the feet. And if you're struggling with this, it can help to take your feet further forward. And if you brought your feet too far forward, you can bring them in a little closer. Keep pressing the feet a little, just tenderly together. And then again, using your hands to press you up. Use your hands to help your knees together. And I'm just going to adjust myself, turning back onto the mat. And lower down onto your elbows, adjusting your legs, lying back onto your feet, and bring your knees into your chest. From here, turn the soles of your feet towards the sky, coming into our happy baby pose. So hold on to the outside edges of your feet. And if you can't quite reach your feet yet, you can always hold on to your ankles, your calves, or even just the back of your thighs. So the aim of the game in this pose is to bring your knees towards your armpits. One day, one lifetime, your knees might even be resting on the floor. And there's a gentle sensation of resistance between the hands and the feet. But without pulling so much from your shoulders, let your shoulders feel heavy, like they're dropping down towards the floor. And it's more the act of trying to bend your elbows that creates the resistance against the feet. And the feet trying to push up towards the ceiling, that creates the resistance against the hands. There's a very deep forward fold, so letting the back of your hips and your sacrum, the back of your pelvis lift off the floor, releasing out the lower back. Allowing the breath to soften. Noticing how you're feeling. The back of your hips. Noticing the gentle compression in the front of your hips. And release. And then bring your hands onto your knees and just let your knees be really heavy so that if you let go of your hand, or if your hands let go of your knees, they'll just drop out to the side. So your legs are super heavy. And then you just let your hands move the knees around, and it can feel kind of trippy. Just letting the thigh bones move in the hip socket. It's a ball and socket joint. So just letting that ball move around in the socket. Exploring your range of movement. Maybe there's a little bit more freedom. And then bring your knees back into your chest. Lift your head and shoulders off the floor. Give yourself a hug and a squeeze. Thanking yourself for all that you do for yourself and for your awesome practice. And release. Bring your feet to the floor. Most important part of the practice coming right up. Arms a little bit away from you. Legs out in front. And then let your feet flop to the side. Palms facing toward the ceiling. Savasana. Probably the most important part of your practice. So this is a part where you learn to relax. And it's relaxation with awareness. Becoming aware of what relaxation feels like. So maybe you feel that your buttocks muscles begin to melt. They become a little squishier. Your pelvis becomes a little heavier. Maybe you feel warmth moving through the front of your hips, front of your legs, the back of your legs. The lower back becoming soft, the rib cage becoming heavy, your belly becoming soft, and the shoulders heavy. Your arms are heavy. Your fingers might begin to curl naturally as you let go of having to do anything. And just taking a few moments here without having to do anything. You just let your body assimilate the practice you've just been doing. Giving your body a chance to soak up all the goodness. It's like it's making an imprint of what the new sensations in your body feel like. Staying here just a few more breaths. Becoming heavier and heavier and heavier. And then begin to deepen your breath. Like you're breathing into your fingers and toes. Maybe you wiggle your fingers and toes. And then you're going to roll over onto your favorite side. Bring your knees close to your chest. Let your head rest on your arm like a pillow. Still keeping your eyes closed if you can. And just take a few moments on your side where you let everything equilibrate. And then on an inhalation, you let your hands push you up like you're rolling up from the side. Finding your way into a comfortable seated position if you can, crossing the legs. Inhaling with the eyes closed, let your hands float up. And bring your hands down through center, resting your thumbs against your heart. Connecting to the beat of your heart, the physical organ in your chest. And connecting with your inner heart, that voice of wisdom deep inside. And then gently bowing your head toward your heart, acknowledging that our head is forever servant of the heart. Thank you for practicing. Namaste.